Okay, so good morning. This is the daily update as usually. So if we look at the dynamic support or resistances, well, support, there is nothing because we are still in a very, from the dynamic indicator point of view, we are still in a very bearish situation. So everything is on the upside. So we will look at them as a support. If we see some bigger move on the upside inside the Jackson speech of power later today at 2 p.m. GMT. So we just, a nice bounce this morning, went long here. We have this bounce, so we are now arriving from that point of view on the 1 hour 2021 EMA. And soon we have the 4 hour 2021 EMA. The next big one, if we would break higher, of course, would be the 1 hour 200 moving average, and then the big one, which is the daily 2021 EMA. So that's what we would have on the upside. And this one is a 4 hour 200. So I can add this one too. Like this, we have everything ready. And we have a clean map from the dynamic support resistances point of view. Okay. Now let's go back to the Euro USD and see where we are, where we have the other support and resistances that we like to look at. So this is the two charts I am posting daily now. We bounced this morning, right, just a little bit above the 50%. There was another support, if I'm not wrong. Yes, this 100, which is more or less which is the the previous lows in the other direction. So that's exactly the same here. We have the 50%, the previous low. We went a little bit lower, and then we bounced with a 5-minute setup, which is not very strong, but at least it gave something. We are now inside the time channel that started a few minutes ago. So if there have been no big turn there, we could see a continuation. I was this morning expecting to see a little bit more downside up to the 2360 fib, this ABC up. So we are now on the 50%. You see it here. So I was expecting a little bit of downside before we would, let's say, rush higher, but it didn't happen. Anyway, that's not a big deal. So we can continue on the upside as usually, and as we have seen every day. If we look at the 4-hour chart, it's clear. It's very clear. Every day, around the start of the New York session, we have some push lower. You see this big one here. Yesterday we went up and we have pulled back from the 7640 fib to the pip. On this chart, it's a little bit cleaner. You see this candle, and if we look on the daily, it's even, let's say, stronger. We see that we had an indecision candle there. We have this candle yesterday that was bullish and that has been sold again by the US trader. I think we will see the same today. Everybody is expecting Powell to give sign of more hikes. Probably the market has already priced in, I would say 90% of a 70 points hike in September. It's still open to see something on the only of 50 points, in my opinion, because we have seen several signs of economical slowdown. So probably they could be a little bit more cautious to protect the economy, which would be, well, in my opinion, which could be a good idea. Sorry, I'm banking some here. I will post it at the same time because I do everything plus 25. Okay. Okay. So this is what we have. On the downside, if we would look lower, we have this chart. So we have to look at this area, which is very important if we would land there with a kind of push and take the lows, the previous lows we have here. And if market would like to look lower, this is the area to look at for a bounce. And the very important fib is this black one, the 7640 ABC down here at 0.9858. So you have it there, you have all the level, and we have the 61 extension of this one, which is the ABC down. As you see, it's written everywhere, so it's the weekly ABC down. This is the daily. This daily is not so important, but the two very important would be those two one in case we would see lower. And if there would be something very strong, we would look to the next one. But I don't think we would go there now. Anyway, we have to be ready for the worst. So the worst or the best, because then we can get long there, and that would be marvelous if we would get this 7640 fib there. Concerning the upside, we already spoke about that. So we already land, I would say, in the area that I mentioned since last week, this blue rectangle there. On the upside, I wanted to see the 38.2. This one yesterday we didn't, at 0.0550. So it's still something we can see. Even this morning, we could have seen. We could still see this area again, or a double top, or perhaps take the high there. That would be very nice. I would be happy with my long here. So that's the new long I took this morning is there. And of course, I still have the long from the previous long here, and the other one at the bottom. So that's what is running now. I have no short at this time, of course. Okay, so I stop. I hope this guy won't bother you. If it is the case, I will check what I can do. Okay, I have kicked him out. So if it was bothering, sorry for that. Now I know how to do it, and sometimes we have people coming in and making some mess here. So so that's where we are. We were speaking about this level. Of course, when we will break this level, we will run for the 2360 and then the 1-to-1 extension, which is there. That will be the 61.8, and that will be the big time for the Euro USD when we will go back to the 103.75 area. But that's not for today, I think. So we come back here. That's where we are now. We are struggling on the daily open together with the 50% fib of that ABC up, and we would like to see again probably a break of the 100%. That would be nice, and touch this 38.2. That would be a short, good short, unless we are of course inside an event or data like we can have with the Jackson symposium today. So it's something we need to be careful with today, of course. Concerning the Dixie, let's go to Dixie now. So I changed the screen sharing. It's the screen one. Okay, so we are there now. You have the chart normally. So we always start like we did in the past day, and that we do every day. We do this update. So we have yesterday an open and close candle under these daily resistances, but more important, under the 61.8 fib we have there. It's the second time it happened. It happened the day before yesterday and yesterday, which is normally a bearish signal. And we have had a crossover. That's something I didn't said concerning the Euro USD, but we have had a crossover, a bullish crossover this morning too. With the open, with the close of yesterday, that has been confirmed. So the upside of the Euro USD should see some follow through, even if we have some move later today with the Jackson speech of Powell. So this is the situation of the Dixie. As we know, we already seen that we broke the trend line here, came back once, came back twice, broke through the second daily trend line, and we came back now for the first time to retest it, which is a usual pattern in price action. So we are retesting this. We have retested this area, and we stopped right on the daily quarterly order block there, together with some retracement here, the 76.40 One more time, if we look at that on a weekly base, which is what we did here, and you saw we never broke through it on the close basis. Same thing here, we are still under it for the close. We'll see what we have today, which is the end of the week. We must remember too that we have next week on Wednesday the end of month. So sometimes in market we see some flows before the end of month or the weekend, the weekend just before the end of month, when the end of month is not on a Friday. And it's the case for next week, it's on Wednesday. So we could have start of flows, and the flows, in my opinion, will be selling USD on the monthly close. That's what I see. So if we go back on shorter time frame, like we have there, so today we have this bounce. This morning we saw this this bounce from the Asian session. We have some bounce inside here, and then we struggle again, and that's always this one, the 71.8 fib here, that gave us some pullback. I'm still expecting, as I said, with the EURUSD, that we could break a little bit higher and then pull back lower. We have here this price gap that has been sustaining the price here for some days, and the weekly open in that area. On the upside, if we would break, as well as I said, on the lowest downside for the EURUSD, if we would break up, if Powell would be very hawkish this afternoon, then we have this big here one-to-one extension that we would love to see at 108.74 area, in this area. So this one is very important because it's a very important ABC up, and that would be the end, I mean, the touch of the official 100% target of this extension. If we would go higher, which I don't think would happen, we would have the 78.6 retracement fib here. So that's what we have for today. If you have any question, post them on the post them in the chat. I will answer them. There is not a lot more to say for now. We can look, oh yes, we can look at the, as usually, at the setups. So we will look at the setups now. Let's go for the setup. So you see this morning, when I took this long, we had a long setup on the 5 minute with the 7-period volume indicator that was telling us it was ready. We are now on the upside of this, this indicator of this setup, which suggesting we can see some pullback. So the question is now, are we going to see this pullback with this one, or are we going just to see a very shy pullback and then a continuation on the upside, which is what I think, but the market will tell us soon. Concerning the larger view, so we have this crossover here, but that's not the one I am more interested in. The one I like to see is this one. Yes, it's this one. So if we look at those, no, sorry, it's this one here. So that's what we want to see in the morning. We want to see how we are on the 7-period volume indicator. That's what we have here. So you see the 5 minute is up, the 15 minute is up, the 1 hour was up, came back a little bit here in the morning, and can see higher. Of course, the daily is very low, the weekly is in middle, and the monthly is still very, very low. We can look at it on a longer time frame and we see it. So that's why we have this very strong monthly setup that is giving us this very strong tailwind. So whenever we have a long setup confirming on a multi-time frame like we have had, and we have spoken about them already in the past days. So whenever we have the 15-minute, 5-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hours joining, or even just the 1 hour, 15-minute, 5-minute joining the big time frame, which is the monthly and the daily, then we saw, and that's when we had those nice move with showing some impulsive expansion in the morning. For now, we are here. We are sitting under the daily open as we just saw on the other chart, and we have then here the 4 hours 2021 EMA that is coming as a dynamic indicator, as I showed at the beginning. So I wish you a very nice trading day, a nice weekend, because we probably won't speak each other till next Monday, and have fun and nice trades. Bye.